There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth. And always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done. There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth. And always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
What's up, everyone? Freddie the Pizza Man here, host of the Pizza Man podcast. Now joining forces with ChristopherMedia.net. Subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, the Pizza Man podcast. And, of course, find all the podcasts on ChristopherMedia.net. We talk Detroit sports. I bring on guests, passions, opinions, all for Detroit sports and more. We even talk pizza. So thanks for tuning in and spread the word.
Christopher Media, let's make some noise. Welcome to Beer Nuts, a weekly excursion into the world of craft beer, brought to you by MichiganBeerGuide.com. And now, here are the Beer Nuts.
Let's get ready to rumble! Welcome to Beer Nuts, episode 100. JR here, and we are going to first do a segment with our national beer nuts from coast to coast and Missouri in between. I would like to welcome Eric in Longview, Washington. Welcome, Eric.
Thanks for having me.
Moving eastward to America's heartland, we have Lieutenant Dan Geis from Missouri. Welcome.
Happy Beer 30, everyone.
And in Durham, North Carolina, our East Coast rep down south, Ross Smith. Welcome, Ross.
It is nice to be on the show again.
All right, so for episode 100, we have a few technical challenges, and we are trying to include all the beer nuts that have ever recorded on the show, which we came pretty close to doing. But as a result, we're starting with the national beer nuts, and then we'll be recording a segment from Michigan with the local guys here. So in light of that, we're kind of doing too many shows here. So we're going to start with the national guys, and Lieutenant Dan, I'd like to turn it over to you for the quote of the week.
Thank you, JR. Beer doesn't make you fat. It makes you lean against tables, chairs, and walls.
Bada bing. I hope I'm not leaning against anything, but I'd rather be lean than fat. And sadly, I'm probably closer to the latter. All right, well, what we're going to do here, episode 100, I can't believe, 100 episodes, wow. Amazing. And actually, there's 102 because there are 2 lost episodes. We'll tell the tale of that later on. But for today, we're going to start on the West Coast and move east. So we're going to start out with Eric in the Pacific Northwest, the great state of Washington. So, Eric, go ahead. You can lead off episode 100 with your beer.
So exciting to be first. So I've actually grabbed the oldest Mother of All Storms I have in my cellar, which is a 2015. Mother of All Storms comes from Pelican, which is as west as you can get because their breweries, or their first brewery, now that they've got a couple, is actually right on the beach in Pacific City, Oregon. And you can't get a nicer location. You can actually see people surfing and see Haystack Rock, and it's a great location. So if you guys haven't been out here and haven't gone out that far, you hit it on the way, right past DeGard on your way to Pelican. So, but Storms is their barrel-aged barley wine. They used to have one called Storm Catchers, and they started putting it into barrels. And the last few years, they haven't even served the Storm Watchers. They just barrel it all because it's so damn good. I'm trying to find the ABV, but for me, 3 years is perfect for a barley wine. And this is just amazing. I brought my buddy Eddie B over, and I think he would agree. This is
It's fantastic. It's 14% ABV.
There you go, 14%. 40 IBUs. I'm not sure why you need the IBUs on a barley wine, but I'm sure there's some hops in there somewhere. And bottled 11/13/15, so not quite 3 years, but I don't care. It's perfect. The smell on this thing when you open it up was just amazing just before I even poured it. And like all of them, it pours a nice, a little bit ahead. Still carbonated perfectly, even 3 years later. And again, we don't have video. I wish you could see me take a drink of it, but I'd challenge anybody to beat this. I'm sure somebody will have something crazy in their cellar too. But it's no $40 or $50 beer. They actually reasonably price these things at, well, as reasonable price as you can get, $20 or $25. But this thing's amazing. Everything you'd want in a I'm trying to remember where they get their barrels from, but yeah, I think I've sent you one, John, and I think maybe Kevin too. I've sent out a few, but I kind of hoard the rest and send a few here and there when the mood strikes me, usually when I'm drunk.
Well, I'm pretty sure I don't have one of these, but I'll be hitting you up for one.
If I haven't sent you one, let me know, because I've got a few 16s and a few 17s, and the 8 come out. They do a Mother's Weekend like in November, so not actually Mother's Weekend, but they're doing some kind of release here coming up soon. If they didn't already, that's they're breaking out a bunch of the vintage stuff. So
2 years. Well, hey man, I got to give you credit for jumping in with a 14% barley wine before noon out there. So
yeah, I've only been up an hour and I haven't even eaten yet, so this should go right to my head.
All for science, right?
Science, bitches. Yep.
I'm talking about this is great breakfast.
Oh yeah, breakfast. That would have been my quote. Beer isn't just for breakfast anymore.
Well, that's certainly the breakfast of champions. Thanks for sharing that one with us. That's a big one, man.
You bet.
All right, well, let's move on a little further east to Lieutenant Dang. Has anybody else had Mother of All Storms? I've only read about it and seen pictures of it.
No, never had. I'd love to try that one.
Yeah, I think you have some fans there. That was a good description. And again, boy, that's a good waker-upper there. Wake and bake. All right, Lieutenant Dan, what do you got for us?
Well, I too reached into the cellar and didn't want to come up short, so I grabbed a Prairie Dogs. This particular one is called Booty Call. It is an imperial stout aged in rum barrels with vanilla, coconut, and cocoa nibs, and it's about 14% as well. Just a quick recap on the Prairie Dogs, in case you didn't know. That is the name of their member club, but then they also, within the club, allowed the Prairie Dogs the option to buy a entire single barrel of beer and age it with up to 3 adjuncts, any 3 flavors that they had, and you could do bourbon barrels or rum barrels, and then you got to name it whatever you wanted to name it. So what a lot of people did is they'd buy the barrel and then they'd split it up amongst a preset group where everybody pre-bought in their bottles ahead of time, and then they pick a name and pick their adjuncts or some variation of a system like that. And the beer itself, all of the barrel-aged stouts that Prairie has been doing lately, they're just fire. It's been fantastic. It pours black. This one is lightly carbonated. It's got a nice toffee head. It dissipated kind of quickly. And take another sip or smell here. It's definitely, you can smell the rum coming through. It smells a little boozy. It's got the vanilla, coconut. They all come through there nicely on the nose. Not really much aroma there of chocolate. And taste it again. It's just got this thick, viscous, kind of a little bit creamy mouthfeel. And then you get more of the vanilla, coconut. The chocolate finishes nicely on the end. It's kind of a nice, smooth chocolate bitterness that pairs well with all those flavors. And, of course, the stout. Man, that really almost coats the whole inside of your mouth. Just a touch of sweetness there. finishing. And these any of these Prairie Dogs or their just the regular barrel aged beer that they're doing lately, if you can get your hands on it, I highly recommend it. I mean, these bottles sell from, well, they don't sell Prairie Dogs on the shelf, but a lot of guys split them up for like $10 a bottle, or the Prairie Dog, the barrel aged Prairie beers are selling from, $10, $11, $12 a bottle, depends on in your market. But get your hands on them if you can ever find them. They've never disappointed, and they trade great if you're into trading, guys. I mean, they've gotten up to, I don't know, $60 or $70 for just a stupid little 12-ounce bottle. So, this is a good one. I love the rum barrel. Their bourbon barrels are great too, but man, I love what they've done with their rum barrels. I don't have a clue where they got their barrels from, but it is delicious.
Well, I would agree. Prairie never disappoints, and I think I have a couple bottles of Donkey Punch, which is another Prairie Dog selection. So have to barter, send some your way, and but particularly the rum barrel offerings are fantastic. Pirate Paradise, I know, is one of their legendary ones, but really you can never go wrong with that.
Yeah, that Paradise, it was so successful, I think, that's what a lot of people tried to copy in the Prairie Dogs, just because they're like the vanilla and coconut and rum. It just works so well together with the base beer, its recipe itself.
Well, it was a great one to share with us. Appreciate it. No, can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, gotcha. Yep,
okay,
good.
All right. Well, thanks for sharing that one. Was another 14%er. Boy, you guys are bringing them strong from the get-go here. Let's go.
Local baseball game here to follow. Springfield Cardinals coming up here in a couple hours, so I'm getting started right.
All right. Well, enjoy the game, and thanks for being a part of our 100th episode. Thanks for you guys in different time zones taking the time to be with us. So it's great to have you, and it's great to have coast-to-coast coverage with Beer Nuts across the country. Let's go down to Durham, North Carolina, and see what Ross has for us.
Oh, I gotta step it back just a little notch. What I'm going to do is only 12.5%, so not keeping up with the rest of them here. So what I've got is a Querido y Perdido, which is one of Casitas beers from last year. I don't know if anybody knows the history of Casita. They're it's the head brewer Ryan, what's his name? Whittier Marathu, used to work for Hill Farmstead. I guess he's still associated with them in some capacity because he brews there with some regularity. And he, their head brewer, so he did a tour of Europe working at a couple different breweries, I think, over there, certainly at least one, came back to the United States and worked with Hill Farmstead some more, and then opened his own kind of tramp brewery. So he ends up working with a lot of other breweries' facilities to brew his beer. Notably, he's been doing a lot of his work with Hill Farmstead and with Duck Rabbit here in North Carolina. So we end up with some of his stuff, I guess, as a pipeline that he did from Hill Farmstead that a lot of other people don't really get, I guess. So it's lucky that he's from this area and works in this area as well. The Querido y Perdido is an imperial stout that they did last year for Breast Cancer Research Foundation, and it was in conjunction with Cycle Brewing down in Florida. So he actually used their facilities to brew the beer. It was one of the first things I'd actually had from him, and it left me in a state of, wow, I'd really like to see more of that product. Since then, he's done a couple other stouts that have been really good. Recently, Follow Your Heart Southward, which if anybody tracks that on the beer social networks, it's got a very high rating. Also, they just released one in conjunction with Duck Rabbit called Coffee Talk. That is very good. Had it on Nitro last night. And I met and talked with Ryan last night, which is kind of what this put me over the edge, is to go grab this bottle out of the fridge and make it the one I'm going to review. He was at a bottle shop I was at last night, premiering his latest beers. One that was in conjunction with Trophy Brewing in Raleigh, and the other with conjunction with Duck Rabbit. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this. And this is categorized, I guess, as a Mexican stout. It's chocolate and peppers and vanilla and stuff. It pours a nice, really opaque black beer. It's pretty thick. It has just a real nice dark, heavy look to it. So the smell, you get a roasted malt, you get a lot of nice chocolate on there, a little bit of vanilla and cinnamon, and at the end you really get the peppers. That's coming through now the more that I'm smelling it. Okay, the first thing that hits you is the chocolate sweetness. That's really up front. Oh yeah, there's a little bit of roasty flavor there. It kind of has this nice steady transition into vanilla and then cinnamon, and then you get the kick of heat at the end from the peppers. Oh yeah, this is nice. They're going to make some more of this again. I was talking to him; he's making some more later this year, so we're going to get another batch of this. I wasn't sure whether we were getting another batch or not, but I guess they're doing it as a regular thing now. After talking with him last night, it's got a little bitterness at the end with the pepper, but other than that, it's just a nice, solid, not overly sweet, spicy stout. I could definitely get a lot more of this. And again, this is one of those that ends up, and I guess I end up with a lot of these, and maybe it's just my taste, but I've had stuff that at 12+%, it tastes like it's got a little more booze into it, and this doesn't come in like that. This comes in a little bit, maybe you wouldn't think it was that high.
Russ, is this the bomber with like the pink logo on it?
Yes.
Was that the breast cancer?
That was for the breast cancer, yeah.
I actually brought one here today. It was one of the ones that we were considering reviewing, but we'll drink it after the podcast is over anyway. I didn't mean to mess you up, but I had not at all.
That I was going to meet Ryan last night. I think we chatted earlier in the week, and I went there specifically just to talk to him for a little while to see what was in the pipeline and how things were coming out, and kind of really get to know him as a person rather than just somebody who makes good beer. And we had a good time talking, and so I just decided it was time to have this beer and give him a little recognition as part of this podcast. I don't know that we've done anything from them as part of the podcast before, so I'm going to throw that out there because he's making good stuff and he's working with everybody. He's Stillwater and I said Hill Farmstead and Cycle and some of the local guys here. He's working with people overseas, so he's got ins in a lot of different breweries, and he's working with all of them to produce these little kind of smaller batches of beer that are all very good. If you go on and look at Casita and Beer Advocate or Untapped or whatever, you'll see that he's really got a good track record of making really good and a lot of different styles of beer. So.
Sounds great, and we would love to maybe invite him to come on an episode with us sometime and tell us about his beers.
Yeah, I'll see if I can do that. Like I said, I got to speak with him for about a half hour last night, so that was good, and I'll expect to see him around more. He actually brings his stuff to the bottle shops himself. He's his own kind of wholesaler or whatever, so I see him from time to time when he's visiting. My local place, Beer Study. I've seen him in there a couple times delivering in the past. I've just not had the chance to talk to him. But he hand delivers in this area, so it's kind of cool to see this real high quality stuff hand delivered by the guy who made it.
Well, hopefully it'll make him happy that I also was going to drink it. Because you know me, I love the pepper beers. I like that little zing of pepper in my stout, so that's a style that is true to my heart. So. Thanks for sharing it, and that I'll save mine, and we'll either drink it when the podcast is over, or I'll put it back in my. Trust me, we have way more beer than we could possibly drink or review on the show here, and at the studio in Michigan?
I had a 50-50 shot as to whether I was going to do this or the southward, and I just reached for this one because I wanted to drink this one sooner rather than later, before the pepper starts to fade. Yeah.
Well, another great choice. So great job by you guys. All three of you brought great, solid offerings. Appreciate it. I do have one request. If each of you would send a picture of your bottle that you drank, post it on the Facebook page or text it to me. We're going to try to put together some kind of a montage of all the beers that are drank on episode 100.
Okay.
So,
Great idea.
Good.
So thank you again, guys, for taking the time to participate in episode 100. We're going to go back to the studio for all the Michigan beer nuts next. So I guess for you three, I'll let you go to Mexico City on your own. Lieutenant Dan, lead us.
I'd rather go to Michigan.
All right. Well, hey, Lieutenant Dan, you can do the exit.
All right. Well, here we go, boys. As they say in old Mexico.
A-M-F.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Beer Nuts. The national portion of our program is over. Now we're going to introduce everybody, all our local beer nuts here in Michigan and the great city of Clawson. So we're going to go around the room, starting with me, JR. We'll go into Dugout. Hey, how are you? We have Andy here. Greg.
Hey. Chris is here.
Alex here.
Uncle Pete, number 100.
We got a full staff here. This is going to be quite an episode with a lot of good beers. The national guys really brought it strong with the barley wine, a prairie dog, and a great Mexican stout from North Carolina. So we're going to just get right into things. We got High Life here. Dave is happy to say the first beer nut who is actually officially hired as a brewer. So congratulations, Dave. Let's talk about your position and where you're brewing and the beers you brought. So welcome.
Thank you. Yes, I just started working at North Center Brewing, and technically these two beers that I'm bringing today I had nothing to do with. They were finished before I started working there. So one we're putting right now is Pils, the Czech Pils, and it was actually a collaboration with Liberty Street. One of their brewers came over to North Center and brewed a batch of beer with us, and that's what came up with is this one. And it's a really easy drinking good beer, and I liked it a lot. And I'm really excited about working at Northville because I'm already taking stuff I've learned from the program so far at Schoolcraft and applying it to real world beer making, stuff. And I could already tell. I'm pretty sure I've made some improvements just from that. And it's all good to have new experiences. And
Oh man, I'm looking at this beer and got to compliment because the clarity is so crystal clear. And the aroma just knocked me off the feet. I went right away. This is a Czech Pilsner, and it's beautiful. It's so far. I haven't even tasted it yet, and I'm loving this beer.
it's gotten a little warm, so it's definitely even more so on the nose for sure.
I'm sure it meets the requirements of Reinheitsgebot, wouldn't you say, JR?
Amen.
It's got to have a taste.
Is that Saz hops?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, that's a classic Czech Pils. One of my favorite styles of lagers or pilsners is the Czech style with that Saz hops. Really nice flavor.
We got a really good one at Schoolcraft too now. We just put Czech Pils on tap 2 weeks ago, and that's been selling really well, and it tastes really good. It's really similar to this. They're kind of really close in style.
Well, it was only, 2 episodes ago we did Pilsners and Lagers, I think it was. And, this would have been an awesome addition to that episode.
It only took us 98 episodes till we discovered cold fermenting lagers.
And real beer, yeah. That's good.
All right, well, that was great beer. Anybody else have anything to add in the room?
Yeah, what I find incredible about this beer is just the nose. From the second you sniff, you just know that it's a Pilsner.
Absolutely.
It's got that really bright, fresh, kind of green, hoppy nose to it that just kind of blows you away.
Yeah, knocked me off my feet.
All right, Dave. Well, I think you got another one, right? Dave actually has to go work, and he's got a pour beer today, so he's going to hit and run us. But it was great that he was able to share these with us. And really, congratulations on your brewing job. I wish you most success. I know you do well, especially with that Schoolcraft education.
Yes, absolutely.
I made a pour. Good.
Yeah, so this one is a sour. It's a cherry. It's got a cherry flavor to it. I believe the base beer for it was a Ghost, and then it just soured in the kettle and went for it. It's got when you put it up to your nose, you're gonna notice it right away because it smells like stinky cheese. But as soon as you taste it, though, like the taste is like so different than the smell. This is the last of it. We kind of took the away, and this isn't going to be a tap anymore. So this is literally the last of this beer.
Yeah. Where's the mic? Yeah, we're talking cheese rind. You're not kidding, man. I put that up there, and I'm like, that smells like a cheese rind. That's like, unique.
That's
I mean, this is very
gym
unique.
shoot.
No, I mean, it's unique. You get that, JR?
I'm getting a lot of barnyard funk.
Yeah.
It's like,
there's one
like
guy
an
that
old
came
pair of gym shoes.
I like the taste of it.
There's an old guy that comes into North Center and he swears up and down this is the best sour he's ever had in his entire life. And he apparently all he does is collect sour beers.
And what is the name of this one?
Just cherry sour.
It's just cherry sour. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think we came up with a good name for it.
That's good.
You're right. I love it because the flavor does not match the smell.
No, not at all. Not at all.
It's like a cloak.
But the smell, man.
Yeah.
It's like you could smell it right through the podcast.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep, dirty gym shoes.
It's like Mo Larry the cheese. Give him the Limburger.
Oh yeah.
Oh, great flavor. Though. I get the cherry. And it's light.
Mm-hmm. It's hard to make a sour. A little DMS, yeah.
Yeah, you do? Yeah.
Well, it is a little warm. Like I poured these this morning, or actually no, these were poured a couple days ago. But I took them to the fridge this morning, and they've been in my car because I had to go help with something at North Center this morning. So.
It definitely tastes like cherries. I definitely get the cherry. It's a nice cherry flavor, but I have to get over the gym sock thing.
This would be nice on a really hot day.
The smell is killing me though.
It's hard to get over. It's a great beer to have when you have a cold.
Yes, if I had a cold, this would be the perfect beer.
It needs to be called, you can't name a beer by smell.
I like it.
All right, Dave. Well, High Life, thank you for sharing those with us, and we look forward to having some of beers that you have actually brewed in future episodes. Very much looking forward to that.
Could always bring homebrew, but that's not what this podcast is for, right?
I don't know. We always
We've always mixed it up with homebrew.
Oh.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, best of luck, and thanks for sharing those. Sorry you have to leave, but looking forward to
I
you.
can stick around to review a couple more beers.
Okay. That's the spirit. All right, I think Uncle Pete. I think you're next in the rotation here. Right. Oh, he's sparing no. My liver's screaming already.
Sorry, yeah. High ABV alert. Okay, I'm just going back with one that many of us have had, I'm sure already, and just like to go with some standards that we love to talk about. But Dogfish Head 120-minute IPA Imperial Pale Ale. And we've done so many Dogfish Head beers over all the episodes. It seems like they got their fingers in every style we touch on. So
I think we might have reviewed these in one of the very early episodes, like when we were at Chris's. I seem to think having one of those in Chris's.
120?
Yeah, that's the 120.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, maybe not. Okay,
no,
well.
I think we've done a 90, but I don't believe we've done 120.
If we did, I could have sworn we had one in the studio once, but.
Well, it's a beautiful dark copper. Definitely the aroma, just like the other beer, had quite a unique aroma. This one does as well. Very complex aroma. A lot of pine forest in there. And it looks on the darker side, so as an Imperial Pale Ale. Woo! And it's a hot one right up front. Yeah, it's a heavy, hot beer right now. I think this might have been from only November or so 2017, so it's relatively a youngster. But
I was going to ask the vintage.
But sometimes it's fun to taste them at all different levels,
The hotness just from the nose.
Yeah. Right.
What do you think?
But yeah, if you needed to clear your sinuses, this might work pretty good. Yeah, if you have a head cold, cough due to cold, try some of this 120.
It's a waker upper.
And I love their bottles. Love their bottles too, because they've always got the little shark fish or dogfish, whatever that is in there, embossed on the bottle. That's why I like.
Lip, they got a nice big fat lip. When you're capping it, makes it easy.
Well, there you go, West Coasters.
Yeah, definitely a good East Coaster right here from the creative minds at Dogfish Head.
What you have here is the holy grail for hop heads. This beer is continually hopped over 120-minute boil and then dry hopper over a month. Enjoy now or age for a decade or so.
Didn't wait that long. Sorry, I was impatient. But I'll tell you what, I know Dugout has made some beers, harvest-type ales, where he's taken his homegrown hops and just sit there for an hour or two, throwing them into the kettle, right, Dugout?
Oh yeah, that's the annual tradition here. Is
Yeah.
Harvest Ale. I've done it 3 times now, and plan to do it again the 4th. And yep, just get a big old 5-gallon bucket full of hops and just continuously throw them in through the boil.
Man, I just had one of yours too. It was the reverse mullet.
Oh yeah, the New England, dank New England.
I'll tell you what, it was dank. It punched me in the face with hops. And I thought it was going to be a palate wrecker for the rest of the day, but
No, it dissipates fast.
It did go well.
That's hence the name. The party's in the front, but the hop bitterness doesn't linger on that. It just
good call on the name. I love that. Well, shall we move on to the next?
Yep, there's plenty more to go. So it's my turn, and I've brought us at Uncle Pete's request when he was in my cellar the other day. He eyed this one up. Perfect for the occasion. It is a barrel-aged Surly Darkness Russian Imperial Stout, aged in rye whiskey barrels. So let's go right at this thing. Nice big bottle, so you can take a nice healthy pour. Okay. All right. Well, the beers are flowing here. So this pour's got a nice cola-looking head, like a tan brown, just about black, but maybe really dark brown. It's not completely black. I can kind of see through it. Nice malty aroma. You can tell there's a little booziness to it in the aroma. So I'll go taste this. Wow, that is tasty.
Smells like a fudge brownie.
Yep. Greg just said it smells like a fudge brownie. It's chocolate. The rye whiskey really is a nice balance with this. They're not individual flavors. It just rounds into one really nice flavor. Kind of nice malty, nice creamy, smooth mouthfeel.
I don't want to go on and read the whole label myself. You might like to do that, JR. But anyways, been waiting for this one from Surly. Where they at up in Minneapolis, Minnesota, somewhere there. Oh, the smell is so good. Brownie is a call.
That's it.
I usually like to read the label, but even with glasses on, the small print on this is pretty challenging. So, in the interest of time,
so sweet.
It's a great brew. If anybody ever has a chance to get it, I'd say jump on it. Very fortunate to have got this.
This might be a good one with a scoop of ice cream.
Absolutely. Make a float.
Absolutely.
Do the floats.
Fudge brownie. I think you hit it on the head, Greg. Nice little whiskey booziness to it, too. I'm going to take another pour of this. I'm really enjoying it. So there we go. Anybody else? Comments? Questions?
It's really never disappoints. And,
Yeah. Agreed.
In my opinion, this takes things to another level. Everybody has a bourbon barrel aged beer, it seems now, but when you can put something like that into a bottle, that my hat's off to you. It's impressive.
What
really
year is
impressive
this?
beer.
Just out of curiosity, is this 17?
It's the latest one, I think 17.
17.
Yeah.
I think it's 18.
The 16 regular, and that was fantastic, but this takes the cake. I mean,
Well, some of the regular
Literally,
ones
I
used
mean-
to be barrel aged.
right. And
Even
the
though
one
they
I
didn't
had
say
was
barrel
not
aged.
barrel. Oh, really?
So you have to be careful. Some labels don't say barrel aged, but they started barrel aging, and then they started putting wax
I had
on
a
it, calling it.
16, but
Yeah, I don't remember all the years, but
This is fantastic.
Yeah, I would definitely search this one out.
Well, I've only been lucky to get it. I used to go over to Chicago. I mean, if you're a Michigander, I don't think we got it on the
No, we
shelves
don't
here.
have a distribution here.
So-
In Wisconsin,
Right.
Wisconsin has heavy Surly distribution.
Exactly, yeah.
or you just
And-
have a friend in Minneapolis.
Fortunately, I got friends in low places.
Hence that beer earlier, that redneck Christmas beer. Right?
Redneck Christmas beer.
We started before the show.
There was a beer.
They're
that has been
laughing
in
all
my-
the way. Ha ha ha.
It's been in my fridge since Christmas. Somebody sent it to me. Redneck Christmas Stout. I don't even remember the brewery. It tasted like a Thin Mint.
Do you think it was down south
Jekyll
somewhere?
Brewing.
It was just
Sounds
a
like
filler.
somewhere down
Not
south.
worthy of being on the podcast, but it has made it on. So, actually, if you like a Thin Mint, a lot of us here enjoyed it. So, Greg enjoyed it. So, hey, it's not my jam, but a lot of
It's
people
an
did
honorable
enjoy it.
mention. It's not being reviewed, but
Just for the name alone, I'm pretty happy with that addition.
All right, well, really pleased with this one, but it's time to move on and Dugout. You're next in the rotation.
Oh, I can't wait. It's always good from Dugout. I can't wait. Episode 100. Let's see what
can
we
you
got.
pause just a second? I got to get one more glass because I don't want to slam this.
All right, we're going to dial it back a little bit here with an IPA. This beer is from Maine Brewing Company, one of my personal favorites. And this beer is called Thank You 2018. It's pours a little bit hazy. I would assume that it's slight New England style, but not what you would think of like the Fruit Bombs or the juicy New England IPAs. I believe this one comes in a little bit around 7%. Heavy mosaic hops, and the nose is absolutely beautiful on it. Just some nice fruit, and the first sip is it's pure heaven. Whatever they do to beer there is just, they can't do anything wrong, in my opinion. Every beer I've ever had from Maine Brewing is just beautiful. It's clean. It's crisp. It's refreshing. And I've been lucky to get a steady stream of it recently, very freshly bottled. Some of the other brands or some of the other names were Lunch and another one. I haven't been able to find yet. That's I'll be glad when I do find that, if I find that. But this Thank You, I think, is gorgeous. It's I don't know how else to put it. I mean, if I had a 6-pack on stranded on an island, this would be one of the beers. Sorry, the cat's getting into the chips.
Edgar Winter.
Get out of there, kitty. Bad kitty. Bad kitty.
Now Edgar wants beer.
All right. Well, anxious to hear what the rest of you think of this one.
Oh, I think it's fantastic. I can definitely get that mosaic. Like you said, nice and clean. It's as soon as I smelled it, the aroma was fantastic, and the taste follows that right up. It's delicious beer.
Yeah, you nailed it right there. That's perfect.
I'm getting like a melon sweetness.
Yep.
It's almost got like a cantaloupe kind of taste to it. But.
Yeah, clean was the adjective. No, clean was the adjective.
Yeah. And it's possible to use some whole melon in this.
Yeah.
I didn't see the entire hop build on it. I know Mosaic is the prevailing hop, but it could be some whole melon in this.
Yeah, it's straightforward though. It's a straightforward hop beer, clean line. It's beautiful. You're right.
Yeah, you could just drink this all day. I mean, it's
Another winner.
I think we're about to batting 1,000s for sure, and I think it's about to get even better here because Andy is up, and Andy is our mead and sour expert, and she has brought a bucket list beer for me anyway. I think back to when Andy gave me a sip of Rose de Gambrinus at the Oak about 3 or 4 years ago before I was into sours, and I was like, ooh, I can't drink this. And but I've been trying a lot of sours, as you guys know, and I'm starting to really enjoy, especially the fruited ones. But this particular one that she's going to introduce is one that I've always wanted to try, and so I guess my wish is about to come true. So I'll turn it over to her, and she can introduce her beer.
Okay, so we have Cantillon Foon. It's 2015, so it's almost 3 years old. It's August of 2015. It is apricot aged in oak barrels sour. I'm guessing it's naturally fermented, probably in a cool ship, but I think everything Cantillon is. This is one of their flagship beers. They have all their classic beers, and this is definitely one of the most sought after. And as a matter of fact, JR actually got it for me, not knowing what it was. He picked it up. I asked him to pick it up. He got it, and then he came back and he was like, "Oh, I wish I had known." Pretty much. He got lucky. I got lucky. I knew it was there, and he got lucky because he was there as well. So. I don't know any of the specifics on alcohol in this one because I didn't get to read the label before everybody started grabbing it. It disappeared. I mean, it's not that funky. It's very
like something else we just had.
No, I don't know. You can pass the smell to drink it. It smells fresh apricots. It's not at all that sweet. It's not overly sweet at all. It's balanced. You can definitely smell the apricot. Lots of apricot. It's lovely.
That is sour.
5%.
Tiny little bubbles. It's really nicely carbonated. Foon.
Tiny bubbles.
Buffoon.
Fuffoon.
Faffoon.
Faffoon.
Yeah.
You know, I think we've moved right to dessert, is what I'm thinking on this beer. You know, it's just so nicely flavored and light.
And tart.
The sourness is, it's perfect.
See, this would be good beach beer if you could actually acquire it routinely. This would be my beach beer, I would lawnmower beer this beer. It would be great. Cantillon.
Where's that?
Belgium.
Yeah, very nice. We're lucky to have such a treat.
Well, it was worth the wait, and my palate is definitely evolving because this is delicious compared to that Cantillon sour I had a few years back. But it does take time to develop a palate for sours, and I've made a point to never refuse. It's always to try them all, even the one we had earlier tonight that smelled like gym shoes.
Yeah.
But that being said, no, there's nothing not enjoyable about this. This is it is sour, but it's nice and light. I love the effervescence in it, nice tiny bubbles, almost like champagne. It's fruity flavor. What I've found as somebody that's kind of still evolving, still growing to learn and enjoy sours, is that when there's a fruit involved, it usually is more appealing to me. Although I've had some recently with no fruit that I've also enjoyed. But my advice to anybody out there that maybe is a little intimidated by the sour world is just keep trying them, and eventually it'll click, because this is delicious. And 3 years ago, I would have probably not enjoyed this at all.
Definitely one out there you'll like.
You just got to keep trying them and develop a palate for it.
Well, what's not to like about this one? Definitely, you're spot on with the aroma, and it's just like I said, I'm on desserts. It's like a great beach beer was a good description.
Well, I mean, it's like beer for snobs. It's not like,
festive,
it's not like you're going to get it in your can and you got to take your corkscrew with you, but
hard to find.
Yeah, it's a little hard to find.
Beach tent thing facing the water.
Yeah, your little sun shelter. And if you are getting...
First party foul of the day.
Penalty shot. So sorry. We're all wearing it now.
Chug the dark.
It went up my nose.
Oh my gosh. The night ceremony though.
We're going to call that the foo-foon fumble.
We just had a beer shower.
The foo-foon fumble.
Was the equipment okay?
Dugout.
Is this show going? It's going.
Yeah. Okay,
Hey,
well,
we can't do it on episode 100. When can you do it?
I was going to say, if you do want to try sours, but you're scared of anything really crazy, you can start with something like Orsman, which is a Berliner Weiss. Something a little more mellow, just to start getting yourself used to it, and work yourself way up from there. Thank you.
And the Jolly Pumpkins too.
Jolly Pumpkin is a good thing. Some of the Jolly Pumpkins, like the Bam Bear and the Bam Noir, they're tiny, slightly sour. They're just more of a refreshing farm style. And could start with that and then go from there.
Yeah, wade in slowly, and pretty soon you'll be hooked, because this is fantastic. There's still some in there. It's a little foamy now, but. Well, thank you. It's kind of ironic. I didn't realize that's the bottle I got. Yeah, I remember she called me one day and say, "Aren't you going to Merchants today? And can you see if they have that?" And so, thanks for sharing it.
You're
welcome.
welcome.
It's a great kind of thing to come full circle. Really happy that I got to try this. I've always wanted to try it, and now I know why it's so sought after. It's
good.
It's a gem of all gems in the sour world. All right, well. Now that the commotion has settled a little bit, I guess we're going around the horn to Greg. So it's a tough act to follow, Greg, but you got something pretty good over there, too.
Oh, I can follow that Cantillon, but hopefully this lives up to the hype. And this is what I brought along was Jackie O's 2018 Bourbon Barrel Aged Skipping Stone. This is a Belgian-style quad, aged in bourbon barrels, like I said. And I was up in Toledo not too long ago. And I figured this was the perfect occasion to bring this along, and hope everybody enjoys. I've never had this, but I've had plenty of Jackie O's stouts and barrel-aged stouts, and I figure this definitely is worth the hype. And so getting the aroma here. Oh, it smells like dark 13%. We're ending on a good note, I guess, right? But this is like a dark raisiny, bourbony, raisiny type deal. Ah, fantastic. Just very sweet on the smell. Oh, we're trying to pop a top. Oh, there you go. I mean, stone fruit or raisins or plums or something like that. I mean, brown sugar, maybe a little tobacco type deal. I mean, this is
Dark fruit.
Oh, dark fruit,
Figs.
right? I mean, this is absolutely amazing.
Raisins, tobacco, all the above.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. The Belgian's got the candied sugar
Yeah, I agree.
type deal.
Dave just said it would go great with a cigar. I couldn't agree more.
Oh, yeah.
Got that nice raisiny little sherry taste to it.
Vanilla maybe from the barrel itself, but
A lot of complex
easy
flavors.
drinking. Considering this is the 2018, I figured it'd be a lot hotter than what it's tasting, but this is fantastic. I love it.
Yeah, that's a winner. I mean, Jackie O's it out of the park on most of their barrel aged. I know what's the Jamaican one, the stout with a Jamaican guy on it.
I didn't see that one.
Stout, Oro Negro,
Dark Apparition,
wheat wine,
Dark Apparition's fantastic.
Oil of
Or
Aphrodite.
Aphrodite, right?
Yeah, and I've been to the brewery. Now, I'll save you guys the trouble if anybody ever gets down there. What's the name of that town? Athens, Ohio.
Athens, yep.
It's a college town. There's a Jackie-O's tap room downtown, and I actually went there thinking it was the brewery. It was just the tap room, and I forget what I was trying to get, but it was sold out at the tap room, and I was bummed. And I got home, and I realized that there was still plenty of it available at the brewery, like a mile away. And the brewery happened to be right off the exit. I drove right by it on the way to the tap room, and it was much more inconvenient. So if you go there, just find the brewery. It's right off the exit. They have more offerings there, but it's a nice little tap room, great beers. Always another brewery that you can rely on, always to be reliable.
And by the taste of this, I definitely would go back to Joseph's Beverage Center and pick up the rest that I saw, because I don't think the price point on these 12.7 ounce bottles was a little up there, be $1 an ounce. But what I'm tasting here, I would buy it in a heartbeat. This is fantastic.
I haven't even tasted it yet, and I've been sitting here smelling it for 5 minutes. Honest to God, I mean, I don't want to, pass that up, because you got to savor that aroma. It's like hot buttered rum and shaved cinnamon with chocolate and caramel.
Definitely the caramel.
The nose is just, it won't quit. So I haven't even tasted. I'm just going to
a lot. Yeah, this is a great winter warmer. Christmas time, sitting by a fire in the fall, just nice and thick and chewy. You get that they have a real consistency through their barrel aged beers that you just know that you're drinking a Jackie O's. There's a few breweries like that. You can just take a sip of their beer and you know it's them. But this is one of them.
It's like a melted candy bar. Everything in it.
Well, I certainly can't think of a better beer to share with you guys. Thank you very much.
Hey, all right, man.
Cheers to 100 to you guys. And I'm
Cheers
sure
to
we got
100.
plenty more after this. So
Here on that. All right. Thank you very much for that one.
We're now completing the circle, the last beer nut to go in round one. We might have 2 rounds, I think, tonight. There's so many good beers. So, Chris, tell us about your beer.
Well, it's technically one of yours. I feel so ill-prepared for this one. This is definitely a style I've maybe had. I count on one hand the amount of farmhouse ales that I've had. But I have Arthur from Hill Farmstead Brewery, Vermont. It's a brewery you hold near and dear to your heart, JR. I'm going to read from the bottle. It says, Arthur was our grandfather's youngest brother. Hill Farmstead Brewery rests upon the land that was once home to him and his 13 siblings. In his honor, this Farmstead Ale is crafted from American malt barley, European and American hops, distinctive farmhouse yeast, and water from our well. Unfiltered and naturally carbonated, this is the ale that I deem to have shared with Arthur. What do we got? It is 6% ABV. If you look at it, I mean, it's yellow ale. You can see right through it. The smell. It's called farmhouse ale for a reason. I'm getting some sweetness there. Yeah, if you want to call it barnyard, go with that. Tasted it in nice light mouthfeel. Oh, here's sweet and sour for you. It's nice and crispy, but I mean it's kind of almost from what I've had of the style. It almost kind of reminds me kind of a sour tall with the aftertaste. I mean, don't let the farmhouse moniker scare you. I mean, this is nice, light drinking, sweet and tart. I mean, I could this. I heard it mentioned earlier. This be something you drink, lawnmower beer. I mean, I could see this months of appearance in the summertime.
Yeah, it's a nice light drinker. It's slightly sour. It's not super sour, but the Hill Farmstead's another one of those beers that I've never had anything from that brewery that I didn't enjoy. It's what I really want to tell everybody is you got to go there. And Andy told me this before I went. How great of a scene it is. And I had a family vacation up to Vermont. None of my family would go to this out of the place brewery with me, so I just drove myself through the hills of Vermont and past all these nice streams. And you're out in the middle of the country and real nice serene drive. And then you get to a dirt road, as the GPS is telling me where to go, and I'm like, where the heck am I going? And it's like almost in the middle of nowhere, but it's like almost a slice of heaven out there. You get there, and I remember vividly, ordering a beer and going out on their little wooden porch and setting on the railing my beer and taking a picture. It was my Facebook cover page for 2 months. It's just so serene out there. It's like you're in the middle of nowhere. It's the beers are fantastic. The people, all the people. It's like everybody there is your friend because they're all just as happy as you are to be there. And I just can't describe it was my favorite brewery visit of my life, and I can't wait to go back someday. It's a real treat. It's worth the out of the way drive. And I highly recommend to everybody to go. And any chance I ever get to acquire a Hill Farmstead bottle from, any channel that's available to me is a treat. And this is no exception. I actually got this on my brewery visit a couple years ago.
And Hill Farmstead, I just want you to know that after JR just plugged so well and gave you those props, Beer Nuts and this podcast will take any donations that you'd like to offer. And we will send them back clean. Okay.
Take labels off and put our home brews in it.
That was a glowing review, JR. I've looked at it on the maps. I've looked at it via satellite. I remember you posted pictures when you were there. It's definitely a slice of heaven from the looks of the pictures to me. So it's on my bucket. And what you just described sounded fantastic. So, part of the beer experience is the journey to go find it. So you've done a good job at that. Road Warrior.
Warriors, amen.
So, yeah, I just think this beer is beautiful. A lot of times during the show, we'll stack the beers into an order, into a tasting order from lightest to darkest, from what seems like a natural progression. I would have preferred this to have been done before the Cantillon and followed the Cantillon, followed this beer with the Cantillon. It's a little less of a sour and tartness to it. Doesn't have the fruit, but man, this is killer. Wow. To me, this is what farmhouse beers are all about right here. Just beautiful golden color. And I can imagine that quite a few of their farmhouse beers have the same consistency because they procure their own yeast and they do things the right way. I mean, anything I've had from Farmstead has been unbelievable.
Well, probably pass on to Andy. I'm sure she can give us some comments. I know I muled some back for her because she was the one who spoke so highly of this brewery. Thanks for the tip. And what are your comments?
I think Farmstead does no wrong. Everything they produce is clean and flawless. And whether or not you like the particular beer that they produce is up to you, but I've never had anything from them that is a bad example of the style or that I didn't enjoy drinking, even if it wasn't absolutely my favorite beer style. I love Arthur. It's just really nice and refreshing, and they have a huge assortment. They do stouts, they do IPAs, they do pale ales. Susan is my personal favorite, and I think that's a American Pale Ale. I can't remember. It might be an IPA. But if you go out there, it's a beautiful place to be. There's lots of really cool little pubs in the area. It's still probably 45 minutes away because it is really in the middle of nowhere. But it's beautiful, and Vermont is just cute, and no billboards and beautiful scenery, and it's a great place to visit. So definitely take your time, go to Vermont, hang out, drink some great beer.
Good for all seasons?
It is, because you have Stowey Mountain right by Hill Farmstead. So I'm not sure if it's pronounced Stowey or Stowe, but you can go skiing, you can go snowboarding, you can do everything in Vermont A lot of people go there in the winter from Boston. It's pretty touristy in the winter. It's pretty touristy in the summer too. I have been there. I've been there during fall, and it's gorgeous.
Okay.
So I've been a leaf peeper, I admit.
That's part of Vermont. No people. Like it's very spread out.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, you can make a beercation in the state of Vermont in a heartbeat. There's so many great breweries. I won't go into it, but do it. Just do it, as Nike would say. So normally we would end the show now, but it's episode 100, so we're just going to go around the horn one more time. We'll try to be a little bit quicker here because we have even more beers to drink when we're done. So Pete's got me stepping it up big time here. I'll let him take over.
Okay, JR, thanks a lot. So we got a great beer here. This is a Bourbon County, Goose Island, Chicago, Illinois, Bramble Rye. And, it says on the label it develops up to 5 years in the bottle. I think this is roughly a 2011 or so.
Maybe
So this has
2012.
probably got 6 or 7 years on it already.
And if I may add, pre-Anheuser-Busch InBev, so this is like real Bourbon County
Yeah, this is before
Evil Empire acquired.
Yep. So it comes in a bomber, purple label, gold lettering. Let's give it a pour. And JR, I know you and I have been waiting to sip on this for a long time. But man, it's got a dark, foamy head, black as night. I get real impression on the aroma of some dark, squeezed berries and fruits. A little bit of caramel. Oh, but the taste, holy smokes. What is that? Man, wow, that is a sweet. It's almost like a fortified sweet wine. I mean, it's got a natural bitterness. I don't think from any hops or anything like that, but just it's like a barley wine bomb. It's a rye. It doesn't have the peppery like the ryes I'm used to, but it's very molassesy. That kind of a dark chocolatey sweetness.
The slightest berry tartness, not in a pronounced way, just in the background. But I believe it's a berry in this, right? Bramble?
Raspberry and blackberry.
There you go.
Heaven Hill Rye Barrels.
And Heaven Hill Rye Barrels. Raspberry
Wow.
and blackberry and Heaven Hill Rye Barrels. Well, Heaven Hill, here I am, because we were just talking about Paradise at the other place, and now there's another one. So there's more than one if you want it out there. This Bourbon County Bramble Rye, I think. I don't have a comparison because I've never had it before, but this is very drinkable, very pleasurable, very worthwhile.
It's one of the iconic ones that a lot of beer aficionados really try to acquire. And the best thing about having this show and you sharing it with us is it's great to drink. A lot of guys treat these as commodities, like, oh, I have this great beer, but we're drinking them tonight, and that's what they're for. And this lives up to the hype. It's got a really nice fruity flavor. After all this aging, it's still standing up pretty good, I think.
I have to agree with you. I mean, the raspberry comes through like you just dredged a whole bunch of raspberries through chocolate, like a chocolate fountain, and then dipped them into a bourbon.
That's awesome.
And just threw them in your glass of bourbon and slammed them down. I mean, it's incredible.
Were you like a writer for some 70s psychedelic shows?
Maybe not. Yeah, maybe in a past life.
Your descriptions were spot on because I got the raspberries out of that right away, too. There was a fruitness in there.
And the blackberries, too.
It's really nice. I'm really glad we got this.
Yeah.
Thanks to our good buddy, Mike. We really appreciate this one. And JR, I know you loved it, too.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Well, I want to thank Mike from the Oak Cafe in Wyandotte, Michigan, who helped us acquire this bottle. Couldn't have done it without you. And, when you're anywhere in the Detroit area, it's one of the premier craft beer destinations. Seek out the Oak Cafe. Mike, I think I've already trumpeted him several times in our show, but the thing I admire the most beer-wise is the man personally changes cleans the beer lines between every keg change. That's how dedicated he is to quality. So salute to Mike.
Go there, just do it.
Cheers, Mike.
To Mike.
And the Oak Cafe.
Go to the Oak. So, yeah, the Bramble, tell you what, It's like jam. It's just
Yep.
jam.
Perfect.
It's jammy. You got some of that, Chris? Come on, here you go.
No, that's
Are you on?
what he said about the raspberries drenched through the chocolate.
I'm not chugging.
Holy shit.
Perfect, right?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's not even like drinking liquor at all. I mean, it's like eating dessert.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
it's,
medicine.
It's a sipper.
It's your medicine.
Yep. I think we could have maybe we could have a bumpy cake made with that one.
Yeah. A little reduction drizzle.
Yeah, I don't think the rest of the country knows about bumpy cake,
That's
but
all
that's
right.
I never had one before until I moved to Detroit.
Yeah.
and
We're having one today.
yeah.
I think. Maybe there's one in our future. There is a beer that's a bumpy cake beer, right?
Yep, from Old Nation.
Old Nation does it. One of the underappreciated beers, in my opinion. I appreciate it immensely. But yeah, jammy Bourbon County Bramble Rye, JR, it was a pleasure to share it with you.
That's awesome, man. Well, that is awesome. I'm glad that everybody gets to try it.
Isn't this 100th fun? I mean, you guys, we're having a good time with these beers.
Yep.
This episode, we're so glad to be doing 100 of them now. Some of these beers would have tasted good on every single one of the episodes for sure. So this is why we're celebrating.
Right now? I mean,
Jump to teleport ourselves to 200. Yeah.
Well, I
As long
say
as my hair doesn't change color anymore.
one of the things I wanted to bring up is some of the memories through the 100 episodes. I remember the first few episodes, the joyrides home from the studio in St. Clair Shores. We quickly decided that wasn't viable long-term
There
solution.
was no joy on Joy Road.
Oh my God! It was a Sunday night, and there'd be no other cars out, and you
JR's
just
bladder
knew
was,
that
one
signaling.
Stay in the lines, my friends.
one time
JR's bladder was signaling, turn left, Pete, into that parking lot.
Yeah, we went to like 3 fast food restaurants. All were only open for the drive-through, so I had to go behind a dumpster. But that was the last ride we made, and then we called Chris and said, no more St. Clair Shores. So now we Skype in from home, where my bathroom is conveniently located right around the corner.
Right
where we
next to
record.
where we record. That's right.
So, but those were some good times early on when Doug out and Pete and I used to trek up to St. Clair Shores to Chris's house, the in-home studio he has. But we've evolved and we've adjusted, and hopefully you've enjoyed the first 100
I don't know
episodes.
about you. I'm not very adjused.
Well,
I had an adjustment after
I'm
all
getting
these beers.
adjusted with every beer. So.
And you'd trek up, I'd trek over. So.
Well, next time you're going to drive downriver, Doug.
Yeah, we
Pete,
called
Pete
it.
and Cindy said they're
and
going
I
to
called
host the
it on
next
the way.
one.
Next time we're doing it on our.
Is that downriver?
But hey, above all, what's really great about these episodes, and I guess we did one last summer, is everybody getting together. That's what makes it fun. I mean, we so often
That's the
we
most
Skype
fun.
in from where we are, and boy, maybe for the 150 or 200th, we can fly in Ross and Dan on their dime, of course.
Of course.
And Eric, and have everybody be together. It's really fun to all be together in the same room, enjoying great beers, and hopefully you out there are enjoying some great beers with us. So I guess that being said, let's keep the train moving. We got a few more beers to go.
Oh, really? Oh, my God. Here we go.
Yep. I pulled another one.
No,
I am
it's
going
not
to
night yet.
introduce... I'm getting a backup glass because I am not chugging this Bramble. So, what I have here for round 2 is Westbrook Mexican Cake, port barrel aged.
Oh, Lord.
Imperial Stout. So,
Lordy.
I think we've already reviewed the regular Mexican cake on the show.
Yeah.
Thankfully, Ross from North Carolina regularly pipes a few bottles here and there to me.
Well, what is Mexican cake anyway?
I'd have to read the label, and I can't really read right now. So.
I mean, I can imagine. So my imagination's probably pretty close to correct.
It's actually pretty close to Robert de Habanero.
Tres Leches is
oh, my
Mexican
favorite.
cake, right?
Oh, my God. It'll hold every last drop of milk.
Some kind of hot pepper.
That Tres Leches.
Well, we'll
like a
read the label
sponge.
later, but it's basically an
That'd be a
imperial
great beer.
stout.
I'm going to make one.
Sorry, JR.
Basically an imperial stout with I think vanilla, maybe cocoa nibs and Mexican chilies. But this particular variant was aged in port barrels, and those of you that know me know I love port and I love port barrels. So I'm looking forward to this. Nice little sweet fortified wine barrel. So let's try this out.
I've never had one out of a port barrel, so this will be interesting. No, honestly, I've had
Comes in a
rum barrels,
22-ounce
tequila
bottle.
barrels. I've had
The side note, but okay.
yeah.
Well, see,
Honestly,
when I hear the phrase fortified wine, I think Mad Dog.
No. Well, porter's a little bit more sophisticated.
oh, it is good. MD 2020. Oh
Dessert.
no, Chris.
It's a sweet dessert wine from Portugal. That's where the name port comes from. It's actually one of my. I think it's lovely. No, maybe I'm wrong. Because I don't have my. Well, I have my glasses here. So can somebody read the label? We'll let it go all the way around, and then we'll read the label. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
There's a lot of cinnamon
this
in
tastes
it.
like the Girl Scout cookie Samoa, with the caramel and the coconut. And I don't believe there's any coconut in here. It's just the way the beer comes across. And what a cool thing! Amazing beer.
What I like most about it, the mouthfeel. It's nice and smooth and creamy. It just slides right down. Great flavor. I love that little, just very subtle little pepper kick at the end. Little zest. So, Westbrook's another one of those breweries that, they do that great key lime goza. That's fantastic in the summer. Mexican cake's one of their iconic, offerings, and I know they have several variants, but someone who enjoys port, I'm glad that I got this one. I was very fortunate.
Chime in, JR. I'm just finally getting to this. Sorry. But, yeah, I smell like shaved chocolate and caramel, and I get a cinnamon aroma going right off the bat. I mean, it's as if you took chocolate bars and just grated them and just, inhaled, right?
I mean, you get kind of that in the nose of a red wine. When you at the beginning, but it totally changes when you taste it. I mean, the nose is nothing like the actual flavor of the beer.
I get a flavor of cinnamon and pepper, dry cinnamon and sweet.
Burns a little bit in the eye. Not too much, but the
pepper is a beautiful finish. I
I
mean,
love the
it's
pepper
not.
finish.
It's like putting pepper on your steak.
if I
It just
get pork
enhances
barrel-
it. It doesn't really take over on it.
I don't know if I get port barrel influence from the flavor as much as I do from the aroma. I think it's more in the aroma. I don't get it in the flavor.
Well, I'm going to...
Beer is big enough to overtake the port.
Yeah, it did.
And you probably wouldn't want like that big of a port influence into a beer. You just want it subtle, and you want it there. It's great for the nose. It's and maybe it just leads to the finish with that pepper sort of berries off behind the port barrel aging.
How long you had this one, JR?
Oh, not long at all. Matter of fact, I want to read the label because you'll understand when I do that. It says, way back in December 2011, we brewed our first anniversary beer, a Sirius Imperial Stout aged on cocoa nibs, vanilla beans, cinnamon, and fresh habanero peppers. It was so delicious that we decided to brew it once a year and age it for 12 months in oak barrels. Salud. Now, this is, of course, with the port, and I think that port added just a little bit of sweetness. The port's a little bit sweet and provides a nice mouthfeel for it. A little bit more sugar, and it's just a real full, nice, smooth mouthfeel. Yeah, it's 17. Yeah, bottled on 10/26/17. And it does say, best consume fresh, do not age your cellar, which I'm surprised.
To me, because I like it the way it is.
Yep.
It's fresh, it's flavorful, it's complex. There's a lot going on. I love it. I know it's fun. Here we are in June, right, doing our 100th. This is June of 18. But we're still, it don't matter what style. Stouts, everybody, these aren't just for the cold weather months. So it's refreshing. I love it.
We've had some beers that have been aged for several years that have tasted good. And, one thing I've learned is usually when a brewery releases a beer, it's ready to drink. And it's okay to drink it now. And a lot of people buy two. And you age one and you drink one right away. But when they say on the label to drink it fresh, you probably should listen. All right, well, let's keep it moving around the horn.
Here's the 100. What do we got now?
Okay, we're going back to Maine, and this is a beer I've been sitting on since last summer's vacation, and it's called Momoko. It's from Oxbow Brewing, and this brewery was in the middle of the woods. It was really a neat setup. I mean, I think there was an Airbnb and just all these outbuildings. It was very rustic, and it was truly in the middle of the woods. And you know how when you have the tables outside and they've got the condiments and the 6-pack holders. Well, this place had like 6 different kinds of insect repellent in the 6-pack holders instead of actual condiments. And we kind of laughed at it at first, but sure enough, man, when you spray that stuff on, it's like the Northwoods, Wisconsin or Northwoods, Michigan experience where you put that bug spray on you and you lay it on heavy and thick. And those bugs stay within about a half inch of you.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, they don't hit you. They just stay within about a half inch of your face. And, I know, but at least they're not feeding on your bloodstream, you know.
I hear you, man.
But that was in the middle of the day. I mean, this place was cool. It was so cool. So Momoko was a special release that they had going at the time. It's a peach. It's a sour with peaches, and I just loved the beer when we had it there. Took 2 bottles. This bottle happened to survive because one went in my suitcase. One got shipped back with some friends that were driving, so I ended up picking it up months later. And it's been sitting in my fridge ever since, waiting for a special occasion to bring it out. The peaches are there, but they're not overpowering. It's not sweet. It's got a beautiful tartness to it. It's got some nice balance to sour to the tartness or the sour to the peaches. I love this beer. I think it's great.
It's effervescent. It's mild on the peach. Yeah, I mean, it salted my tongue immediately. That's the description I've got. It's not. I'm not trying to say it's like a saltwater bath, but it's just it took over and cleaned my palate right away, and then it prepared me for the following, which was the light peaches and the effervescence. It was really nice.
Super crushable, warmed, like we said earlier with the Cantillon, perfect beach-like type deal. You could sit there under an umbrella, drink this sucker all day long. It's easy drinking. It's fantastic. Perfect.
Not that we like umbrellas in our beer.
Well, I mean, without
not that we like umbrellas in our beer or anything.
I used to sell them.
Hey, everybody.
I used to sell those little drink umbrellas you put in your beer. Or in your,
However you
not
like
in
your
your
drinks
beer.
with your
In your
umbrellas or
food
not.
Was there good money in that?
That's right.
It wasn't bad. I sold enough of them.
That's great.
That's a really good sour. Again, this is one of those 3 years ago I would have shunned, but now it tastes fantastic. Man, been some great beers today.
I got to be more like JR and I put my beer down and I'm only holding the microphone. Because most of the time I'm talking into my beer and the microphone's way over there.
Well, when you start singing into your beer, we'll know it's time to unplug.
That sounds like a good name for a beer, singing into my beer. Hey, excellent 100. JR, toast.
Yeah,
toast.
toast.
Have a toast.
Andrea, aren't you going to comment on the sour? You're a sour expert.
Sorry.
I know. No,
I was Canadian for sorry.
Andrea has the floor.
And
sour
this
expert.
is barrel aged as well, which I think it comes across as a little bit of dryness. I don't know if anybody else picked that up. I thought it was really nice, just a little bit of crisp dryness to it, that oak barrel flavor, and I don't know. I really like it. It does taste to me like peaches. That peach you get in summer. You know how hard it is to find a peach that's actually ripe. That peach you finally find that you eat and it just drips everywhere. It tastes like
Down
that
your
peach.
arms.
Yeah, you get it down
Yeah.
your. You have to hold it in a towel, otherwise you're just
And a bee didn't drill a hole in it already.
right. It tastes like an actual fresh peach that you would want to eat, not like a peach flavor, a peach syrup. It's lovely taste. So I love it. It's good.
Amen. Well, hey, that means we're back to you, Andrea.
Oh,
Hold
and
on.
there's more.
Okay, do we want to do a mead or do we
Train
want to
kept it
do
rolling.
a beer?
It's your call.
Let's do a blindfold.
I'll do a
Think
mead.
we could tell a difference between a mead and a beer, guys?
No, we have been meaning to do a mead episode, and we will
Okay.
get there. But
We'll
why
play
not?
with the mead.
Let's do.
Oh boy, waxed and cork is about how I'm starting to feel after all these beers.
Yeah, sorry. I should have prepared, but somebody handed me the microphone and expected me to talk about a different beer, so
It's all right.
Who did that?
yeah, I don't know.
It's all good.
Newman.
Kramer. So, any more while we're waiting for the bottle to be opened? Any more memories, Chris? Let's ask you. What is your favorite beer nuts memory, or probably many that you can't remember? But
Oh yeah.
Probably the 2 episodes that never existed.
Yes, this is actually episode number 102, but 2 did not air, and I'll let Chris describe that.
Well, I know one of them was Old Ales. We made that one up, but we still have Red Ales floating out there because that was one of the 2 that just it got zapped, and it's
Cinco de Mayo recently.
Oh, okay, so we're up to 3 that never. 3,
I didn't know
we
that.
lost 3. Yeah, because remember we lost the 2 we originally lost were Red Ales and Old Ales.
Okay, well,
and then Cinco de Mayo. Yeah, did something happen with that? I wasn't watching the computer, and that one's out in the ether somewhere. You guys did it for yourselves.
One of the things I wanted to mention is we actually have one more beer nut that recorded an episode but was never on, and I'll let Pete go into that because it's his nephew.
Right? Yeah, my nephew Mike. We love having him on. Unfortunately, the episode he was on, we lost that episode, but we'd love to have him back, and we keep inviting him. We'll have to keep him on board. Right now, he's doing a great job in the industry, just in repping mode. So
you can mention that he works for Griffin Claw.
Yeah, Griffin Claw.
We're going to do a Griffin Claw episode with Mike.
There's a lot of good Griffin Claw beers we could try.
What I wanted to mention about Mike is the episode that was lost. He did a great segment on how to review beers. And it was one of the best segments we've ever had, and it was lost forever. So
I remember in those days, though, he was studying. He wanted to get his Cicerone. He was going to take the exam and all that stuff, and he was into all that stuff. So he was really, really going for it. And I'm just unhappy that we didn't get that episode out. But no, yeah, just want to put the plug in too, as I always do. Uncle Pete came from Mike Robillard, who coined the Uncle Pete term, which stands to reason.
And Mike, if you're listening, we invite you to do a Griffin Claw only episode as soon as we can make that happen. I'm sure it'll happen soon.
Well,
Griffin Claw.
There was one more lost episode, but because it didn't really some of it got recorded, but some of it got deleted, or some of it was never recorded. And that's the failed experiment of going to a beer festival and trying to do a Beer Nuts episode while you're drinking 25 little glasses of beer.
None of that got out.
You have a feeling those are files that never made it to me.
No,
because you guys probably listened to them and went, can't hear nothing.
Detroit Summer Beer Festival, or Fall Beer Festival in Eastern Market. We had a phenomenal interview with Brett Coonan from Coonan Brewing. We had snippets from all kinds of beers, and there was all kinds of chatter. We were interviewing people, just putting a phone in front of their face and saying, "What do you think of this beer?" And people were loving it. That episode never got made, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't think we're ever going to attempt that again.
Why not? 2 years ago,
I think we should pay somebody to be a DD and be our reporter and take care of all that
DD
stuff.
and a DI, designated interviewer.
Designated recorder, yeah.
There was some great material that...
it really was.
I still have a few of those snippets on my phone, but certainly not enough for an episode. But that's kind of fun to go back after 100 episodes and think man, that's coming up on 2 years. That's about a year and a half ago when that happened.
That's awesome.
That's cute that we thought we were going to be able to do that.
Yeah. Lessons learned for next time, right?
No, you have to have a sober person in charge of everything, or it's just never going to happen. Well, Andy, tell us about this mead.
Okay, this is Double Barrel Aged Episode 13 by B Nectar. It's Male de Garde variation. B Nectar is a meadery. It is not a brewery. They do brew, but they're primarily a meadery. This is a variation of the Episode 13 series they do. What they did was they took a little bit of it and they put it in a combination of Irish whiskey barrels, wheat whiskey barrels, and one bourbon barrel for further aging. And then they mixed it. So this is technically Male de Garde Batch 3, Episode 13. It's kind of a combination. I like it a lot. If you've ever had Male de Garde Batch 1, it's nice. It's not barreled the same way. It's lovely.
Thank you, Brad, from B Nectar.
Yes, it's great.
Episode 13 on episode 100.
18%.
It's really, I can taste the Irish whiskey. Before you even said that, I identified that, and I was like, That's probably just what it smells like.
It's from
kind of validated me.
It definitely has some Irish whiskey going on in it, and I really like it. It's surprising. Mildegard batch 1 was pretty sweet and plain, and this is like sweet and plain with a whole kick in the butt of whiskey. It's not. You're getting a lot of sweet and a lot of kick in the butt at the same time.
Exactly. That was exactly what I was thinking. It punched me right at first with that flavor.
Yeah.
And then the sweetness took over, and that honey, and it just mellowed everything out. Of course, next thing on my mind was take another sip.
Yes.
And
at almost 20%, that's a good idea.
Yeah, it's mesmerizing, though.
Yes.
I can only hope and pray to make mead that tastes this good.
It's pretty nice. I like it.
Yeah.
I think what blows me away about this mead is, the trend right now with meads is fruit, fruit, fruit. How much fruit can you jam into a mead? And for good reasons, because some of the meads we've been privy to, Schramm's and even Bee Nectar, really have a great way of infusing the fruits into the mead. Where you can still taste the honey and where you can still taste the beverage as it's meant to be tasted. But, a lot of that's moving away from traditional meads, which are a little more similar to this, where you have the honey. But what I love about this, love, is it gives you a little bit of the bourbon burn.
Yeah.
It's
A little?
just gorgeous. I mean,
Come on. Oh, my
Nice
God.
balance.
Not just bourbon, Irish whiskey burn, too.
I mean, this, I
Phenomenal.
could just see sitting by the fire in the winter and just bundled up in clothes and sipping this down, letting it get to room temperature and letting all this honey magical goodness come out of it.
Almost like a hot toddy.
Yeah.
I want to be drinking some.
But even better, because the sweetness is the drink itself. It's the natural honey, and wow. I mean, I've recently been lucky enough to judge some meads and started working in that direction as a mead judge, and boy, this just falls right into that class of something I would say. Wow, hats off to you, man. This Bee Nectar does some good stuff, but this is just way, way up there above what they've been doing lately. I mean, this is incredible.
This is hats off and shirts off.
Yeah.
Amen.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
And show your whatever.
Yeah. Tattoos, scars, whatever you got, man. It's all right with us. You're in a good support group here.
Love it.
Well,
win beads.
One thing about the Beer Nuts and JR, I'm sorry, I just love the diversity in what we bring into the show. We're always going over everything. It don't matter from meads, pilsners, lagers, to the heavy stouts, old ales, barley wines. We just run the spectrum, and that's been the fun of this show for me. I don't want to point out any one single thing, but just to say the cohesiveness, the way this thing flowed, and we haven't never run out of ideas yet, and I think there's more to come. So,
no, I think the biggest challenge is for the quote of the week. But beer-wise, we probably have 500 more episodes.
If we would start on the quote of the week before, rather than the day of the show, we might have an easier time.
The problem is we're
Just
all thinking
saying.
about the beer to drink, but not the things to say.
Right.
But you know what? That's fine. It's the core idea of the show is to introduce more good people to more good beer. It's that simple.
That's right.
And we always say our motto is, I don't care if you're a Coors Light drinker or a beer snob, there's room at our table for you. It's all about let's discover new things together. And I've discovered some great new beers today. I'm sure you guys would agree, and that's what it's all about. So, you don't always have to be drinking a whale. I mean, we've had some great, easy to get shelfies that are good beers, and try them all and see what you like. You like some, the journey. The journey's that's the fun of it, the exploration of it. So that's all we want to do is introduce more good people to more good beer. So that being said, I think it's Greg's turn, and I think we're down. They're coming down the stretch.
We're in the danger zone.
Yeah.
Highway to the...
And they're coming down the stretch.
Here, I mean,
Down to earth.
Greg's up by 1 length.
Down to earth. What's that? We're out in the
I
atmosphere.
think we're a couple beers away from wrapping this up.
We went into orbit already.
Yeah, right here.
Thanks for hanging with us. It's been a long
what is
episode, but
All right. We've got Jolly Pumpkins' version of Alien Church, which is by Tired Hands. Right? Oop, a little foamy up there. No, I've never had the version of Tired Hands.
oh, I have.
Good catch. That's right over
I
the
was
board.
just going to say that I'm
Yep.
sure somebody in this room has had
Get
Tired
that
Hands.
beer away from the board.
One spill is enough.
Got it on a laptop.
Oops.
Let me pass it on because I don't have a glass yet.
Well, and I did the total bumble foul.
It is pretty.
The bottle was slippery though. It just went tink.
That's right. We're all human.
A little warm. I apologize, but I just purchased this up yesterday at Merchant's Fine Wine in Dearborn. I've heard great things about Alien Church and Tired Hands, and I've, like I've said, never had it. So this is Jolly Pumpkin version, a little sour, a little tartness to it. This is, I believe I've heard that Tired Hands is a little New England version of an IPA. So it's supposed to have a little fruitiness to it, maybe a little hot. But with the Jolly Pumpkin version of it, it's going to be a little bit more tart. And at least by the smell of it here, you definitely get a little bit of barnyard to it. Too much. It's not overpowering. But hey, right? The taste-wise, hey. I think we've had a few. Same. How can we record this? This is great. Much of the same. A slight fruitiness to it. Very tart to it. Not super overpowering. No Foot Locker socks type deal to it, but fantastic offering. I don't know what you guys think here. It's hard to compete with the rest that we've had here, episode 13 and everything else. But this is a fantastic brew. Certainly with no stone fruit type deal. It certainly is a little, like you said, a little more abrasive. But yeah, fantastic. Oh my goodness. What JR is passing around. All right.
Yeah, Chris has got the grand finale here.
Oh, I got to review another one, huh?
No, my goodness. This is good.
Yeah, prepare him.
I'll help him.
Is it a twist top?
Yeah, it's good to go. Just
Can I defer to her since it's a mead? She's the mead expert.
no, you have to do it.
Well, we got to give it a clean
I'm not an
glass.
expert on that particular brand of mead. They're not from the state of Michigan.
We got to give him a clean glass, though. He's working on a couple.
All right.
Just like the rest
Well,
of
hey, I just wanted to say we talked a little bit earlier about Jolly Pumpkin, and this is a perfect example of a very approachable sour. It's very slightly tart. It's approachable. Anybody can drink this, I think. And having as a Philly guy, as many of you know, I've been several times to Tired Hands, and Alien Church is one of my favorite beers that they make. And this is like maybe a tart version of Alien Church. Okay. Jolly Pumpkin basically took an IPA and added a little tartness to it, but a very subtle tartness. It's very easily drinkable. Almost reminds me of what Andrew referred to as a table beer. It's very easy to drink. It's another light, for the hot weather. This is an easy to drink beer.
And for the price, I mean, it really is an affordable price. I don't exactly remember what I'm sure I paid under $10 for it. So for a 22-ounce bottle, I mean, you can't go wrong with it. Really.
So again, as we're kind of walking people into the sour world, like I did just a few years ago, and I'm still wading in, but this is an easy anything from Jolly Pumpkin, almost anything. I'm sure they have some pretty sour stuff too, but if you go into Jolly Pumpkin, there's several locations, and you can buy them at many party stores in Michigan and throughout the country. Just ask anybody, hey, you got like one of the less sour ones, and
Like Bamberry would be less sour.
Bamberry, there you go. So lean on them as a great way to wade into the sour world, and slowly but surely, because it worked for me. All right, we got Keebler the Basset Hound.
Yep, he's
That's
coming
our
right
final-
in.
Our final offering of the night. Chris has deferred to Keebler. So Keebler is going to introduce to you a mead close to my heart. Melovino Meadery. This is a mead that no longer produced. It was a one-off. It's called Southern Apple. It was an apple mead aged in, I'm not exactly sure what brand of whiskey, but a Southern brewery. That's why they call it Southern Apple. So it is a whiskey barrel aged apple mead. And just because my hands are full, I'm going to hand it to Andrea and ask her, as our mead expert, to give the first review. And then I think this is going to probably be our grand finale because I think brain cells are at a premium at this point. Well, I'm pretty clear-headed right now, but probably a half hour from now. Yeah.
So what was that? What was that '80s song? Gone, gone, gone. You've been gone so long. You've been gone, gone, gone so long.
I'm not allowed to sing. So when I was in a band, I was not allowed to sing. I played the bass, and I could only be the deep voice in Love Shack Baby.
I may be clear-headed, but I'm warm-bellied. I'll tell you that. Oh.
There you go. Hey, that's a quote of the week.
There we go.
So we're going to have one final offering. Full disclosure.
If I could just go back a little bit to the Jolly Pumpkin, and I know I stated this before about Jolly Pumpkin, is that every beer you have from Jolly Pumpkin tastes like Jolly Pumpkin. And they can take a recipe and just, they put their own yeast in it, and boom, away it goes. I mean, they have absolutely nailed their yeast to the point where every single beer that they make is a signature beer that you can taste it, and you can taste that at Jolly Pumpkin. Whether it's the sourest of sour, whether it's an IPA, whether it's just a light, easy drinking farmhouse ale. I mean, that yeast is just signature for them, and I find that to be amazing. I mean, that's the chemistry involved in brewing, and if you can bottle, you can bottle that chemistry, so to speak, not necessarily bottle the beer, but bottle that flavor. I think that's the mark of a great brewery, that everything becomes your signature just because you have that yeast that you put into that beer.
Keebler agrees.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cheers to Jolly Pumpkin.
As JR was saying, this is a Melovino apple mead, and
Southern Apple.
it's called Southern Apple. Apparently, this is only made once, and so we can't have it anymore. But it is a apple mead aged in some sort of barrel. It says Southern barrels.
Whiskey barrel.
Whiskey. Oh yeah. It tastes. Oh yeah. It says whiskey barrel. It also says Kentucky, so maybe bourbon barrel. Not particularly specific on the barrel. It actually says wing. Keebler does not like barrel.
Keebler!
Hey, it is his beer. He's saying, how come I can't talk?
Come on!
Do you want some mead?
He's reviewing it.
Keebler is very offended by this mead.
No, I tell you, Andrea,
Yeah.
I really gotta go outside.
just off shade from water.
Yes, it is.
Honestly, it's very light. And
I get barrel on the nose immediately, the wood barrel. And
Granny Smith.
I haven't tasted it yet, but it's not bubbly or anything like that.
I'm getting barrel, but I'm not necessarily getting whiskey barrel, bourbon barrel. I'm just kind of getting barrel. So it's not like it said 6 months, I believe, on the label. I think they probably left it in enough to get the barrel, but not enough to just nail me over the head like the episode 13 that had so much barrel. So I do like it. It is apple, and it's more of a tart apple.
Like a Granny Smith. Almost,
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
not
mean,
sweet.
that flavor just rolls around your tongue and goes in circles.
It's like a baking apple.
It's creamy and smooth. The sweetness is consistent. That nice appley flavor. It's refreshing. It's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what the ABV on this is, but I'm guessing it's sneaky. Yeah, 15 at least. I don't know. 14%. So, yeah. Apple mead aged in Southern barrels for 6 months. I kind of feel like there's a little bit of a cinnamony taste, but I probably am just imagining that with the apple. I don't see anything on here that would warrant me thinking that. I'm just, I guess, with the apple associating it.
I mean, if you wanted to coat your mouth with sugar, this would be one way to do it. I'm serious. No, I mean, really, when you think about it, it's just a sweet,
It is.
mouth-filling flavor. You know, it's a bomb, and
there's
it's
not
really
enough
good.
whiskey to to really counter.
It's not
contradict it.
overpowering in
No.
any way by the whiskey.
No.
You know, it's just a nice balance with the apples, the juice, the sweetness from the honey. Yeah, it's really floral and nice.
Yeah, there's just not too much of anything. It's a nice, easy drinking. There's some barrel influence, but I'm enjoying it. And, full disclosure, I have a special affinity for Melavino. I represent the brand in Michigan. This is a one-off that you'll never see again, but the flagships are really fantastic. If you find them on shelves, Midnight Jack has 4 dark fruits: black currants, black raspberries, blackberries, and black cherries. That's probably our best seller in Michigan, and it's a fantastic dark fruited one. No barrel, just dark fruits. And the Meadery has won many medals at Mazer Cups. The last 2 years won the most medals. And the other selling point for Melavino is their meads come in 500 milliliter bottles when most competitors are at 375. So you get a little bit more juice. But I just wanted to share this one with you guys. It's one of the rare barrel aged ones that they had, and I'm really enjoying it. So it's a good way to cap off a great episode here, don't you think?
I do.
I agree. Oh. Yes.
We have a few more beers, but we're signing off. We're going to Mexico City, and
the room is significantly more empty than when we started.
Well, I think Keebler cleared the room when he kind of had an outburst when we said he had to review the final beer for the final lead.
So blame it on the Basset Hound, not the 4 double % ABV beers in a
Yes.
row.
Yeah, and especially not the big meads either.
Yeah.
So I hope everybody listening either has enjoyed a good beer while you're listening or will later, because we had some really world-class beers here and world-class friends to share them with here in this room anyway. So I'm going to pass the mic around for some closing comments. And when we're heading to Mexico City for the 100th time.
Wow.
Well, actually 103rd time.
We'll get to Mexico City in just a minute, but I got to give props to JR, the brainchild behind MichiganBeerGuy.com, and the Beer Nuts, getting together with Chris and coming up with the Beer Nuts and you guys. And this has been a fantastic ride, 100 episodes, and we got more to come. There's nothing that's stopping in the craft beer scene, right? And it's just going forward every day. So we're going to go forward with it, and we'll just go along with you for the ride. So, JR?
I just want to say the credit goes to Chris. Chris reached out to me a couple of years ago saying, "Hey, I do all these podcasts. I want to do a craft beer contest. Would you like to consider doing one with me?" And I went on one of his other podcasts as kind of like a pilot, and it worked, and here we are, man. And I've made a great friend along the way, and I can't thank you enough, man, for making this happen, and look forward to working with you, until the earth stops spinning.
I know, right? Well, this all does come back to you, because I searched on Twitter Michigan craft beer, and you were the first result. And I checked out your Twitter. I was like, it seems like because I'm sure there's plenty of other people that do that, but you knew what you were talking about.
He's OG.
You were well versed in it. I liked your presentation, and I DM'd you, and the rest is history, sir. So, and great friends have been made.
Call me sir, that makes you feel
Great friends have been made. Great beers have been drank. And, here's to 100 more, guys.
Right. Chris and
Here's
Chris.
our 100 more. Everybody raise your glass.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to 100 more.
Clink, clink, clink. All right, let's
And
clink those
Greg,
glasses.
Greg, I'd just like to say here.
Greg from Listener to Beer Nuts.
Greg actually was our most valuable listener, and now here he is in the room with us. He enjoyed the show. He manages a golf course and listens to us in his headphones as he's mowing grass. And what a great story, I remember meeting him to give a Michigan Beer Guy win this glass, which someday we'll have that again.
Someday.
Inside
Not
joke.
today, though.
No. But he actually does have a Michigan Beer Guy glass, and it's great to bring him into the fold from listener to, you've graduated to like an MBA in beer nuts now. So thanks for joining us today, and we look forward to having you for the long haul.
Thanks, JR. It's been, like you said, it's fantastic, and I do listen to this every day when I'm mowing grass, and I do enjoy my beers out of the Michigan Beer Guy glass, and I do love this podcast. So, cheers to 100 more, and I can't ask for a better group of friends to call the beer drinkers with me, and cheers to 100 more, like I said. So, cheers to that.
Good for you. All right.
Andy, one more comment?
Oh no, it's fun to be back. So.
Well, we
always good to have you.
We hope we'll have you on more often, but
yeah,
it's always a treat when you are on. So
yes.
thanks for joining us.
My
today.
career as a martial artist comes before my beer career, I guess.
That's all right. That's all right. That's I admire you for that.
Thank you.
Shout out to some of the other guys that aren't on with us tonight.
Yeah, well, the one beer nut that we really had hoped to be on is. I normally would say better half, but maybe lesser half. Andy's lesser half, Steve, SAK, who certainly we wish we could have had him on here, but he had family obligations. So he, I think, is the only beer nut other than Mike Robillard.
Junior.
Oh, that's right, Pete Junior. Pete Junior also, he was invited. I don't know what happened, but he's a young guy. He's probably got a lot going on. So, but any other maybe? Hey, and not only that, Beer Church. Who's our brewer friend at Beer Church?
Nathan Peck.
Nathan Peck. Yes. I believe he was at Tapestry at the time.
He was at Tapestry at the time.
So,
he since moved to Beer Church.
Last month.
Another one of our great brewing friends that I should have invited him. Probably he probably would have done it. But other guys that we've had on the show, Andy from the Brewers Association a few weeks ago for the American Craft Beer Week. Great to have him. Everybody that's ever called into the show, and most importantly of all, anybody that's ever listened, because without you, there's no reason in doing this. So thanks for listening to the show. We hope you enjoyed it. I know today was a long-winded episode, but I'd like to think that the quality of the beers made up for our rambling. So that's he's saying I'm rambling with a bramble right now. So Mike Mackie.
Rambling man.
And I think if there's no further comments, it's time to go to Mexico City. Is there a consensus?
No doubt. Okay, all right.
So we're going to make this a big one. As they say in old Mexico City. Yeah. Episode 100 complete.
All right.
Woo!
If you like this show, please tell a friend. Please follow us on Twitter and like and share us on Facebook by searching for Christopher Media. You can subscribe to all ChristopherMedia.net shows for free on ChristopherMedia.net. Please make sure to rate and comment on all your favorite Christopher Media shows. Thank you in advance for supporting Christopher Media by clicking on the PayPal button and by clicking through to all the sponsors who support ChristopherMedia.net. Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net, and thank you for listening. Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth, and always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Reinvent yourself at UCLA Extension. Explore continuing education programs to enhance and expand your skill set. Gain real-world skills taught by industry experts that you can apply immediately. Learn from anywhere and choose from a wide variety of online courses in entertainment, digital technology, business, engineering, and more. Winter quarter begins January 4th. Learn more at uclaextension.edu.